Everyone. Hi, welcome back to the watercolor road trip. How exciting. So, we are on day 6, and hopefully today my internet is faster. I really hope so. I was just working on some sketches for the Lighthouse of Maine. The Maine Lighthouse is really cool. It's very iconic. It's an icon of the East Coast, and it's coastal, and it's a great painting idea. It's a great painting prompt because you can practice your gradients, your sunset backgrounds, and we can add in the rocks, the trees. We can add in a bit of light for the lighthouse. And we're going to use some masking tape for this one because the lighthouse itself is a very straight shape. So we're going to block it off with some tape, and then we're going to work on the sunset first, and then we'll add in the details. So this one might take a little bit longer, but it's going to be super fun. So I can't wait to start this one with you. I can do a little sketch first, and then we're just going to dive right in and mix up some colors, and we are going to paint that background first. So I'm going to turn my camera around so we can do the sketch part. Let's see. Okay, so I have my tape, and it's just gonna be a really quick sketch, but it's just the idea of, like, blocking in the lighthouse shape. It's very blocky, so we're just gonna go with the blockiness of it. And going up, it has different sections to it, and then the top is smaller, and it has a little point. So that's really all we need to do for that, and then the rocky shapes are just gonna be kind of blocked around it. And then if we want to add in that red little house, we could do that. So I'll just kind of draw in a little bit of the house shape like that. But we're mostly going to be focusing on this, the sunset background. We could add some clouds if we want. We could add some little cloud shapes. And I think this one would be good to use a flat brush because everything about this whole painting is very blocky. So I'm going to clear out my brush, my flat brushes here. Make sure we have some flat brushes ready to go. I have a couple different flat brushes here. So I have this one too. This is the Princeton Velvet Touch. This is a really great brush to use. So let's just make sure they're clean here. And okay, so I've got my sketch. And I always go back to my core paints. I love my core paints. Let's see. This is my core palette here. And this one is a core palette and a Daniel Smith palette combined. So I'm going to spray these down. So I'm ready to paint. But I've got my cold press paper ready to go. I already taped that down so we can use it for multiple layers. So I've got my palettes ready. Let's see. So to start, it doesn't even matter. We got a little paint already on there. We can just use that as part of the sunset. So I'm just gonna sketch in the lighthouse really lightly. So you just kind of have a general idea. And I'm doing it off to the side because it's always good to keep your focal point like away from the middle. So I'm gonna use it over here. And we're gonna have this little house shape over here. So, and then we're going to have a lot of like rocky shapes. So we don't really need to sketch in all the details because we'll add these later. Just going to do the idea of it. So I'm going to, let's see. Whoops, I have a little jar here with my doodads. I have this little cute little jar. So I keep some erasers in here and I'm gonna lighten my pencil lines like that, just so we get the idea. And I'm gonna tape down the area of the lighthouse. Just some masking tape like that. Like that. So it's not a perfect shape, but that's fine. It's just, we're just blocking it off so we can do a really nice background. I'm actually going to block off a little bit of this house shape too, like that. All right, maybe a little more. There we go. Okay, so I've blocked off the areas that I want to leave white for now. And now I'm going to mix up some of like a grayish blue color. So let's see. We'll go with a smaller brush here. Got a couple different blues. And to tone it down, I'm going to bring in a few different colors to tone it down. So it's a little bit more purpley. So that's more of the blue I was hoping for, a little less. There we go. Tone it down. A few different colors. Play around with your palette and see what happens when you start combining your colors. All right, so this is a nice grayish color. So I'm going to use a little bit of this and then a little bit of this purpley magenta that I have on my palette here. So I'm just going to literally just like randomly block that in. And now just going to add some water. I'm going to grab my gray, just paint right over. Might even do a little salt. Let's just, while we're at it, gonna drop in salt and do a little splatter, water splatter, so you can really get a nice sky effect. And then I'm gonna work my way down with the rocks here, but I'm gonna start adding in something a little richer. So we're gonna just block in some different colors like that. And I'm working quickly. I don't want to think too much about this. I just want to make it feel loose and fresh. So work quickly and leave some white space. And now I'm going to grab a little more of this blue here and just work this into the middle part. And all the water is doing the work for me. I'm just adding the paint and I'm letting the water do what it does best, blend the colors. All right. So maybe I'll add something up at the top of the sky here. And okay, so this background is done. I'm not going to paint anymore. I'm going to let it dry. So I'm just going to try to speed it up a little bit with a hair dryer. Okay, guys, I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. We're going to take the tape off and start working on the lighthouse now and the house. Reveal our little lighthouse shape. Ooh, I actually love the way it left this little texture line. We can use that to our advantage here. So pretty. Okay. Get the house tape. Fun. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now let's mix up some lighter gray tones. Just gonna grab my small flat brush here and I'm gonna pick up some of that burnt orange color and then bring in a little blue and water and maybe some of this. Oh, I don't know about that yellow. Maybe let's go back to the blue here. I want something to contrast the background, but I want it to be much, much lighter. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to start another sheet here. Let's see what else we can mix up. Okay. Let's see what we have in this Daniel Smith palette. Daniel Smith has these amazing iridescent colors. So I'm just starting to experiment with them. You need a little more water. Let's see. Got this. This one's really nice. Look how pretty that is. They're like the copper tones. And there's this rose color. I love that one. That one's really pretty. But for the lighthouse, let's see. Something got on my brush. Piece of tape. No. Okay. So yeah, so we've got this pretty sea blue and these beautiful warm tones. So I'm going to take this blue on my brush and just dilute it. And I'm just going to block in on the right side. Look how pretty that is. I love that. So pretty. So you can kind of feel like this is the shadow side of the lighthouse. And then maybe right on the edge of the lighthouse, I'm just going to drop in this turquoisey color. Okay, and now we're going to add, I'm going to use this as the base of the house, and we're going to add in a red kind of roof to this house. Ooh, look at that. It's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to use that. A little magenta here. Look at that. Just block in something for the roof and let it overlap the white. Makes it really fun. And then I'm going to add a little red to the top of this lighthouse. That's really nice. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at my reference photo here. So it looks like we could do red across this whole area. This is sort of the top middle section of the lighthouse. I'm dropping some color there. Okay. Make the house. And now we're going to make it feel like it's sitting in rocks. So I'm just going to start dropping in colors for the rocks. More rock colors. And I like having a variety of textures. So going with different brush strokes, different types of brush strokes here. And I want to see if we can add this yellow into the sky, going out like it's shining a light. Let's see. That's pretty. Right on top of our purple. And I'll go this way too. We've got our lighthouse, our rocks. I want to add in sort of a darker shadowy area here. So I'm going to grab some more of this dark blue and some of this magenta color and a little bit of this burnt orange. I've got like a really dark color here. So now I'm just going to go in and add in some tree shapes. Everything's just loose. We're not going for perfection here. We're just going for the basic idea of it. How far can we abstract it without it becoming unrecognizable? That's sort of like what I like to do. But you do you. If you like to make it more realistic, go for it. Okay. I like the way that's going. Maybe I'll just add one more layer here, going back to this pretty blue. Just adding in a few more hints of a landscape here. Like that. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to dry it one more time so I can add in a few line work details. Okay. So let's see. Grab. Here's it. Oh, yeah. This one. Okay. So a little gold accent. Just to give it a little interest here. Like that. So I don't want to overwork it, so I'm just going to stop right here. So give this a try. You don't have to make it exactly like mine, but just take the idea of the process going from simple blocking off of shapes, adding a background, adding some rocks, and then going back in and adding some more details. So give this a try and see how you do. Bye.